All right, well, good morning, everybody. Nice to see everybody here in attendance today for this very exciting announcement on behalf of our organization. And on behalf of Mr. Daryl Cates, our owner and the entire Cates Group organization, again, just want to say how thrilled we are for your interest. My name's Mr. Tim Shipton, Vice President of the organization, and I'll be your MC today. Quickly, a little housekeeping. The format for today's announcements, I have some introductory comments to make, going through what we're announcing today, followed by some comments from Mr. Nicholson, and then a Q&A with Bob, Patrick, and Kevin. And our participants certainly will have some time after the formal press conference for further one-on-ones. So we issued a press release probably about 2 minutes ago announcing that Mr. Bob Nicholson is joining the organization as Vice Chairman of the new Oilers Entertainment Group, or OEG. And I really don't think that Bob needs much of an introduction to any of you. Incredibly well-respected hockey man and business person in this country. Recently retired as President and CEO of Hockey Canada, the national governing body for hockey in this country. And Bob continues to serve as Vice President of the International Ice Hockey Federation. I'm going to turn it over to Bob in a few minutes, but just pointing out some of the salient details of today's announcement. The Oilers Entertainment Group, or OEG, is a new company under the Cates Group umbrella, created to build the Cates Group's growing family of sport and entertainment assets and operate Rogers Place, the new home of the Edmonton Oilers. Its mission will be to build the group's sport and entertainment offerings, deliver outstanding fan experiences, secure major new sponsorships and events, and as I said, operate this outstanding new facility that we're building as we speak. Mr. Daryl Cates is chairman of OEG. Bob and Kevin Lowe are vice chairman, reporting to Daryl. Bob's chief responsibility is to fulfill the ambitious and exciting vision and to grow the business, which is all stuff, folks, that we'll have more to say in the coming weeks and months, less so on the specific details of today. We have more than enough exciting news to announce today. Kevin will continue to oversee hockey operations for the organization. Mr. Patrick LaForge has been appointed President and Chief Operating Officer of OEG, and he will work closely with Bob and Kevin to fulfill that vision and, of course, be responsible for our business operations. I know that Daryl wanted to be here today to participate in this announcement as himself, but as news broke very quickly due to some fine reporting, just the timing did not work out. But he did ask me to say, though, how excited he is to make this announcement, and really how excited our entire organization is in the city of Edmonton to welcome somebody with the reputation and the caliber of character and accomplishment of Bob Nicholson. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Bob for some introductory remarks. Bob?
Thank you very much, and I've been in this city a number of times making an announcement, different logo behind me here, and you know what, first of all to Daryl Cates, thank you for this great opportunity. I left Hockey Canada just a couple weeks ago, and I thought I had the best job in hockey in the world. I think I'm going to really enjoy this. We're going to build this into the best job and the best sport and entertainment organization. And as I come on board today, I look at the organization and I look at team first, and I look at Kevin Lowe. Kevin, we've been together for 14 years with the Olympic Games. There's only 2 people that have been on management to win 3 Olympic golds. Kevin, you're a huge part of that. I look at last Olympics in Russia, and yes, we won gold, but how we won gold was special. Your leadership with the defense and Steve Yzerman and Mike Babcock, Played such a great game. Puck possession was unbelievable, and I really look forward to working with you in this organization. To Patrick, you know, I look back of all the moments in Hockey Canada, and you know, World Juniors is so big in this country and around the world, and there's no question the biggest and the best was when Edmonton and Calgary hosted. Over the last couple of years, I continue to talk about how great the organization was here in Edmonton, and I really look forward to working with all of the staff in the organization. And there's a big vision coming. You know, I get excited when I drove down here today and you see the big hole in the middle of the city, how we're going to change this city. And there's going to be more on top of that, how we're going to change this organization, not just for Edmonton and Alberta, but throughout the world. And I'm fortunate to be here today, and I really look forward to working with Daryl, Kevin, and Patrick on this vision. It's going to be something special for everyone here. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. We'll now open it up to questions from the media. Just ask that you state your name and your organization. Because we're live streaming, we do have a microphone that we'd like you to use, so just raise your hand and we can start. I know at the front, Mark here. Right here, right in the front.
Mark Spector from Sportsnet. Congratulations on the new job. If we look back 2 years from now and we say, man, that was a good hire, Bob's done a great job in what he's doing, what are the things that will have happened in that time?
You know what, just coming into the job today, you know, we're starting to really build that vision, but I certainly want to see us performing on the business side, making sure that we're engaging all the organizations into the new building. We want to make sure that all the properties that we look to build in the future here, that they're all successful. So there's going to be a lot of different parts, moving parts on that, Mark. And, you know, I think it's going to be a challenge, and the three of us will work to Daryl's vision to accomplish a lot of goals. But a lot of that is just being put in place today.
Terry Jones, the Edmonton Sun. Bob, can you just outline a little bit more in terms of the vision that they're talking about here? Is your job to add different franchises to the mix? I'm thinking baseball and another property to play in the new building, and I don't know if you have a whole lot of experience booking acts or anything like that, but how does that work?
You know what there, Jonesy, those are things that we're just starting to, you know, I've been on the job for an hour, so I don't have all those answers right now, but yes, it's going to be a big vision. We're going to look at all different opportunities to build this new organization to another level, and you know, right now the building downtown is the number one priority, but there's going to be a lot of pieces that we're going to add to that. I have to have more discussion with Daryl, and we're going to do it in a team approach to reach all those goals.
The second part of the question is your background. You've had a special relationship, the Edmonton Oilers and yourself in Hockey Canada. How much did that come into play? Your relationship with Kevin, I don't know who recruited you here, but I mean, the Oilers have consistently provided, you know, more players for the world championship. Had something to do with losing, but can you just define your relationship with the Oilers and Hockey Canada and yourself?
It was the main reason I'm sitting here today. I can tell you that as I've talked about already, it's been a long and special relationship with Kevin, over 14 years. The relationship with Patrick, everything that we've touched has been golden too on the business side. And it really started with Daryl just before the 2010 Olympics, how he helped the Olympic team out. I got to know him through Kevin and Wayne Gretzky, and you know, I've been in touch with Daryl ever since. And when I stepped down, this was one of the opportunities that was there, and it became very clear the more I talked to Daryl and to Kevin and Paul and Patrick, this was the place that I wanted to be, because I think there's huge growth here, and it's going to be something very, very special to this city and the province and this country.
We're going to go Min at the back.
Bob, Min Darwell with CBC. I'm just wondering, this new position, how different is it from what you've been doing with Hockey Canada, or are there a lot of similarities with what you did with Hockey Canada and expanding that brand that you're going to bring here?
You know, when I look back at Hockey Canada, I came in and I was the president in 1999, and really I was focused on the hockey side. That was where really I put most of my attention. And as we grew, I started to move myself more into the business side. I still stayed involved on the hockey side in the big appointments of who was to run teams. And so I really see, you know, a little bit of the same model here. You know, we have a great organization here today, and we want this to be a lot bigger organization, but we want it to be a world-class sport and entertainment. And, you know, that vision is there. We just got to get more clarity to that, and it's going to take us some time, but we're going to build that as a group.
In the front here, John.
Hi, John McKinnon, Edmonton Journal. Hey, Bob, congratulations. Just expanding on that, that arena is an unbelievable asset, or will be when it's up and running. How much is this of your job takes you out of the hockey comfort zone? I mean, Madison Square Garden is not the world's most famous arena just because of the Rangers, obviously, many other things. How much are you going to be outside of hockey to expand the vision that you're talking about?
First of all, hi, John. I remember you when you worked with Hockey Canada, so it's great to see you again. And you know what? My main focus is going to be the business side, the vision of where we're going. We're going to I'll cross over with Kevin. We're going to do a lot of things together, but that's what really excites me. There's going to be some new opportunity for growth for myself, and there's going to be huge growth here for the organization.
Just one other question. One of the ways that you transformed Hockey Canada, and particularly with respect to the Olympic program, was the networking. And specifically, you brought Wayne Gretzky in to lead the group, and Kevin was part of it for 2002. Here there's a lot of fuss about when they're going to move the Gretzky statue. On your watch, can you see any scenario where Gretzky would come and work for this organization?
You know, I can't sit here today and say Wayne would be here. Hopefully Wayne will always be attached to this organization. He had his best years in the National Hockey here with the Oilers. I'm sure as we look to activities down the road, we'll try to bring Wayne in whenever he can. You know, history is a big part of this organization, and Wayne is the key part of that. And looking at the Hockey Canada side, it's about partnerships and getting the best people. Patrick's done that on the business side. I really like the new hire that Kevin through Craig McTavish has done. We got to get the right people in place for us to be successful.
Jason.
Congratulations, Bob. Jason Greger, TSN. Kevin, for both you and Bob, how do you see him impacting the hockey operations, if any?
You know, as Bob alluded to earlier, we've had a 14-year relationship, and to understand the dynamics of his leadership with Hockey Canada, although he was primarily focused on the business side, he was very involved in the hockey side. Maybe people didn't realize that. You know, Brad Pascal and Scotty Salmon, some of his executives would be more out front with the Olympic team, but Bob was very involved in the decision. So I have a great deal of respect for Bob. That goes without saying. We've got a great relationship, and he's as passionate about fixing the Oilers as we all are, and I embrace his leadership and his involvement in the organization. On the hockey side, that is. I know that Patrick and I have joked about this. We're both going to be tugging on him because there's lots going on in the Oilers entertainment group, and you know, Patrick's done a phenomenal job on the business side, but this business is growing, and as you know, not to make light of it, but we need more executive horsepower. We're just very fortunate on the hockey side that we'll be able to tap into Bob. Yesterday, Bob sat in on pro scouting meetings and was engaged with the scouts, Craig McTavish, Scott Housen, and the good staff that Craig and Scott are assembling. So he'll be as involved as much as we can get him, and I know that'll be a massive addition to this organization.
One small one for you, Patrick. It says here that OEG owns the Barons. Do you guys own the Barons outright, or does Prodigal own a part of them? How does that work with the American League team?
Yeah. Do we own the Barons? Yeah, we own the Barons. We essentially lease it through an affiliation agreement to some business partners we have in Oklahoma City.
This question at the back.
Darcy Seaton with CTV. Bob, all those years with Hockey Canada, what would you say is the most important thing you learned during those years as you come to this new role?
Partnerships, people. You know what? If you get the right people and figure out the best partnerships, and you have to deal with all of them differently, and that's what this organization is about. I had the opportunity today to talk to the staff. I love the energy of the staff, and we have to make sure that we get the right people to lead and the right partners. And if we have that, I think we can take this new organization to another level. This is a pie, but it's going to be a lot bigger pie as we grow here.
Terry, go ahead.
I wonder if Patrick could give us the same kind of take on your side of the operation that Kevin gave us. Your job is involved a lot of the other properties, if you want to call them that. Where does the line come now? And as a follow to that, Bob, does your hire do something in addition to bringing you? Does it possibly position Edmonton very well to acquire future World Juniors, World Championships, Memorial Cups, all that sort of stuff?
Well, Terry, the answer, the line, I think that it's not really character is what I see here, and what Bob and I have been talking about as a group. And yes, I'll retain my responsibility for business operations for sure, of all the businesses. But what we're trying to put together here in Bob's leadership is a team approach. And my view is you can never have enough great people. And as the business grows, as Bob just said, the pie gets bigger and needs to get bigger, and we need more and better people to achieve the vision. And I think that's just terrific, and I know Bob's more than capable of leading that and rolling his sleeves up and doing things about it. So I don't think there's any line. I don't think that, yes, I have a box that I live in and people work with me, but Bob's approach will be very teamish, I think.
Yeah, just to comment on that, there's no question we all have our responsibilities, but to me, it's all about team and how we build that and how we work together. That should filter down, and as we build the organization, it should filter up in the new vision of Darryl's. In regards to international hockey, I'm staying on as the Vice President of International Ice Hockey Federation till 2016. No, I don't make the decisions on where World Junior goes, but I certainly know the format to get international hockey and international events, and we're going to use those contacts that I have to improve opportunities for our organization.
Mark?
Okay, I got to ask this question from my bosses in Toronto. OEG sounds a lot like MLSE. They spread out, they built the brand of MLSE, they hired Tim Lewicki. Is it fair to characterize this new entity as something that is much like MLSE? Is that fair?
Well, my answer would be similar in some aspects, but significantly different in that MLSE is a large corporate organization with 2 large shareholders or 3 large shareholders and a very powerful board. And my view of our organization is we don't have that restriction and governance over how and what we do. And so that's significantly different in the culture. And it causes a lot of us to be able to work together, and so I'm on this floor and you're on that floor of the tower. That's not the approach. When Bob got the office tour this morning, he was surprised to see a lot of offices where 2 or 3 people work in one place. And I think he quickly got the message, not significantly different than where he's coming from. This is about vision in my aspect. And as Bob said several times here just now, it's Darryl's vision and then our sorting and clarification together and execution. And I think in that regard, it's a significantly different culture.
Excellent. We've got time for a couple more questions before we wrap up. I see Terry has one here. Mike is coming. Terry, just hang tough.
I assume, Bob, you've had a look at the plans for the arena. Your thoughts?
Are you kidding me? My thoughts? Unbelievable. You know, I haven't gone into great detail, but when I look at that, it's going to change the downtown. You know, it's great the Oilers are going to play out of here, but it's going to be so much bigger than that. And, you know, if we can utilize that facility in the proper manner, it's going to change day-to-day lives in Edmonton. And I get really excited about just looking at that, talking to Darryl, going through a lot of those details. And, you know, that's the first step of many more to come.
Mr. Nicholson, Bill Fortier from CTV. According to the press release, you and Mr. Lowe, maybe you could both answer this, have the same title. I'm hoping you can spell out in a way that even I can understand what the difference is between your two positions. Maybe you could both answer.
You want to go first, Kevin? I'll take it. Definitely, I'm on the business and new opportunities. That's the focal point. You know, Kevin's on the hockey, but I can tell you, just the way that Kevin and myself have worked before, we're going to work together on everything that we can pull each other on. And I think that that's going to be a good challenge for us. I'll want Kevin over on this side a bit for some input, and he's going to pull the other way on the hockey. But clearly, I'm on the business side of that and looking at the new vision for this organization.
You know, at the moment we have 4 hockey organizations, and so my job description doesn't really change. The title has. I'm still trying to figure that part out, but I'm responsible for overseeing the hockey operations, and hopefully we'll acquire more in the future years. Not predicting anything, but we know that our owner has great vision, and you know, my working relationship with Patrick's been phenomenal for 14 years, and he's done a much better job at it in recent years than I have. But the goal is that collectively this group will have enough horsepower to have great success in this organization.
Okay, last question, Jason.
Kevin, speaking of hockey ops, do you have plans to have a GM in place in OKC?
Not immediately, but we've discussed that. I think in the time being, Bill Scott will operate things from here, but we've had that discussion. Craig McTavish is, you know, fully involved in the draft and free agency that's coming up, so those will be decisions made later in the summer, possibly, Jason.
Okay, folks, we just want to again say thank you for your interest in our big news, and again, just welcoming Bob to the organization and to Edmonton. And Bob, Patrick, and Kevin will be available for some one-on-ones. So thank you again, and this concludes the formal part of the press conference. Thank you.